So me whole mountain is talking about increasing the Defence Forces spend, which I welcome, because the main thing nowadays, and I have to get this across to people, is that we can't rely on other people to defend us. As simple as that, and it's the truth. We can't rely on any other country to come to our aid if, God forbid, the worst did ever happen. We have to be ready to defend ourselves. And how we do that is investing in the defence forces, because we can't. We're only a small island. We have to do it ourselves. We can't rely on the world to defend us. And we have basically relied on the world to defend us. We have the OEF defending our skies. We want NATO to patrol our seas and our oceans. And it should be Irish Navy ships, it should be Irish aircraft patrolling our skies. It shouldn't be. We shouldn't have to go one into Europe. We shouldn't have to go one into any other country for defence. So it's very welcome after the Munich Security Conference that they're talking about increasing the Defence Forces spend, which is about €1 billion at the moment. They're talking about increasing the €3 billion. To be totally honest, I know it's a lot of money, it's a lot of investment. I know a lot of people would say, but it need to be €5 billion a year, to be totally honest. But how we get the money, as I say, and this is the thing, I don't know where they're going to get the money at the moment. But what I would do is take it from the NGO budget, because the NGOs get hundreds of billions of euro every year. Take it from there, cut a few NGOs, get rid of them. We'll get rid of them all if we can. We'll get rid of some of them and we talk then. But that's how we get it, because there's billions of euro going to NGOs. If we cut some of that, we have the money to defend a good defence forces. But the main thing is, the numbers last year for the defence forces have increased for the first time in 7 years, just to think about that. So it's good, it's progress. But the main thing about the defence force, and I think it's gone over a good lot of those heads, the Minister of Defence, etc., etc., because Simon Howard couldn't tell you what a tank is. But I think it's gone over their heads a bit. The main thing is not about, they're all talking about buying weapons and buying this. That's all well and good. But you need the people to hold the weapons. You need the people to operate the weapons. There's no point buying weapons and letting them lie. The same as the Navy ships. We have naval ships just lying there, gathering dust because there's nobody to man them. And there's no point buying more Navy ships just to have them lying in dock and being down. So they have to increase the defence forces, without a doubt. If they want to get, because the defence forces commission recommends it be 15,000 people, which is a lot of people in the army, but that's the minimum. What I think it should be 25,000 or so, because it's a big island. We need the resources to defend the state. Particularly, again, the main trouble for the state at the moment in terms of the state is the underground cables are a huge risk, the huge national security risk to the state. Not to mention, espionage, but not so much aircraft stuff, not yet. Now, the main things is the Navy and cyber security, them kind of stuff. But yeah, so like the last few years we've seen over the last 30 years, the criminalize it really pretty much, I would nearly deem it as criminals. Nearly should be people put on trial for it, in terms of ministers for defence, it's Taoiseachs, in terms of what they did to the military budget, and in terms of violence defence, because they're pretty much over the last 20 years they've left the country defenceless. And even the Defence Forces own report 2 years ago said they could not defend one county in Ireland, the Defence Forces. And it's criminal, to be told that some of the Minister for Defence should be up on trial, should be up for nearly treason in my opinion. And I know it sounds radical, but that's what it should be, because they literally left us defenceless in terms of if we were attacked in the morning. But they should be held up and should be put on trial for treason, because it's treason nearly what they did in terms of cutting the military budget so much. And the same with the Taoiseachs and the Minister of Finance, they should be up for treason in terms of that. But again, their thinking was to join the European army. That's not probably going to work out, unfortunately, for them. So they kind of have to do it now, unfortunately. They can't join NATO because the majority of Irish people. When I say the majority, it's very clearly 90% of Irish people are not too keen on going over to fight in a European war. Nobody's really keen on that. So nobody is. And then especially the people who shout the most for NATO, when you ask them to be conscripted to go over and fight in Europe, I won't do that. Because it's funny, you see people online that's pro-NATO, like what's Ireland to go into NATO, and then when you ask them to join up and to go and fight for their country, they won't do it. It's key, because I'm not willing to send loads of Irish young lads off to die in Europe. I'm not willing to do that. Simple as that. And I think the majority of Irish people are not willing to do that. Simple as that. Because we want peace and we don't want to have conflicts. That's Ireland's position in the world. But that's what I'm saying. So that was their plan. That's why they cut it so much the last 30 years, because they wanted the European army or wanted to join NATO. Micheál Martin himself really said NATO would defend Ireland, like, as the woman behind me said, we can't rely on anybody else to come to our aid. We have to defend ourselves, and that's exactly why I have huge respect for Sana Marin. Because pretty much that's always been my case too, that we can't rely on everybody else to defend us as a sovereign, independent state. That's 800 years. Just think about this, to get the OAF to defend our skies. We should be able to defend ourselves. Like, let's be fair, we should be able to do it. As a small country, should be able to do it. Every other country in the world can do it. We have to go to other countries to defend us. It's insane. It's ludicrous. But again, the defence forces, the numbers are increasing, which is positive. But again, the main thing is increasing the allowances, increasing the pay for members of the defence force, and I think that's important, because that's how we get the numbers, and then we can get the equipment and stuff. It will be a lot of investment, but it's important. It's important to keep our citizens safe, and to be able to defend ourselves. But again, I know the money is a lot. It's a lot of money we're talking about here. But it needs to be done, to be totally honest. It really, really needs to. But it's criminal, because if it was done for the last 30 years, the same, if it was, say, 3 billion what the top were putting it up to now, it would have been, everything would have probably been dandy, because people would have got paid. We would have probably still have 15,000 or so, maybe a bit more, in the defence forces, and nothing to be an issue, pretty much. It's the fact that they cut the budget, and they cut the allowances for people. That's what caused all the issues, really, pretty much. But yeah, that's just my views on it. But we have to get rid of the fellow at the top, first of all. What I mean by the fellow at the top, the Taoiseach's no addition. He doesn't believe in the backwards looking idea of sovereignty. We need somebody, and particularly the chiefs of staff of the defence forces, the chief of staff, we need people who are, pro-sovereignty, who are pro-Ireland, who are willing to do stuff, who are willing to kick holy hell up to get equipment and get money for the defence forces. Because at the moment in time, I see the top of the defence forces, the people at the very top, along with the defence, the Minister for Defence is useless, the Taoiseach's useless, the two of them are useless. You need someone that's willing to kick up holy hell to get what they want. And the people at the moment, they seem to me to be very defeatist in terms of the chiefs of staff of the defence forces. I don't see them as people that are willing to kick up a huge fuss. Because we had weak members, the last few chiefs of staff of the defence forces have been very weak, to be totally honest, because they allowed the government to cut the military budget as much as they want, and didn't kick up holy hell. But yeah, there's many things could be said about it, but that's what I see, because we had to get rid of the defeatists. Like, again, don't believe in the backwards looking at the idea of sovereignty. That's the Taoiseach, that's the man at the top. If he doesn't believe in sovereignty, I don't know what the people at the bottom believe. But that's what I'm saying. We have to look at that, because there's no point talking about sovereignty and stuff like that when you say such a thing and then contradict yourself a few years later. But anyway, let me know what you think, subscribe and bye.